Hey guys, Smooth47 here. Welcome back to Cataclysm, Dark Days Ahead. We are at the Refugee Center. We still have a lot of people to talk to see if they have anything for us to do before we even move on. So we are going to go just talk to some more people. We're going to put our S-Stock away. I was walking around a little bit off camera. I dropped my backpack over here because I was worried that I heard some things about the back bay that sometimes it causes problems here, so I was sort of getting paranoid, but it seems like everything's alright. It's just a guard. Yeah. We'll find some people around. We got another guard. Another guard. Jeez. Guard. Just a bunch of guards. This guy doesn't look like a guard. Representative. Okay. Hello. May I talk to you? Citizen? Who are you? I'm this region's federal liaison. Most people call us the Old Guard, and I rather like the sound of it. Despite how current things appear, the federal government is not entirely destroyed. After the outbreak, I was chosen to coordinate civilian and militia efforts in support of military operations. So, what are you actually doing here? I ensure that citizens have what they need to survive and protect themselves from raiders. Keeping some form of law is going to be the most important element in rebuilding the world. We do what we can to keep the free merchants here prospering. In return, they have provided us with spare men and supplies when they can. Is there a catch? Well, I was like any other civilian until they conscripted me, so I'll tell it to you straight. We're the best hope we got right now. They are stretched impossibly thin, but are willing to do what is needed to maintain order. They don't care about looters, since they understand that most everyone is dead. But if you have something they need, you will give it to them. Since most survivors here have nothing they want, they are welcomed as champions. Anything going on in the outside world? There isn't much being pushed out by public relations that I actually believe. From what I gathered, communications between regional force commands is almost non-existent. What I do know is that the Old Guard is currently based out of the 2nd Fleet and patrols the Atlantic coast, trying to provide support for remaining footholds. The 2nd Fleet? I don't know much about how it was formed, but it is an armada of military and commercial ships that's floating off the coast. They have everything from super tankers and carriers to fishing trawlers, even a few NATO ships. Most civilians are offered a cabin on one of the liners to retire if they served as a federal employee for a few years. Is there any way I can join the Old Guard? Retiring sounds pretty good. Can't actually join unless you go through a recruiter. We can use the help though. Ask me from time to time if there's any work available. Completing missions as a contractor is a great way to make a name among the most powerful men left in the world. Well, does the Old Guard need anything? Tell me about the job. I don't like sending untested men into the field, but you stayed alive long enough for you to earn some skills. There's a pair of bandits squatting in a local cabin. Anyone's preyed on them, execute both of them for their crimes. Complete, and the Old Guard will consider you an asset in the region. I'll do it. Any advice? They might suspect you are coming. Keep an eye out for traps. Okay, thanks. Alright. Where are those? Kill bandits. Already have it selected. That's not too far. We could probably walk there. I don't know. It sounds like a pair. We do have a gun on us, so we could shoot them. Got an arsonist here. What the hell? Hey, you look important. I'm actually new. Guess that makes us 2. Well, kind of. I don't think we're open though. Full up as hell. It's almost a crowd downstairs. Did you see the trader at the entrance? There's the one to ask. Sucks. What are you doing here? I burn down buildings and sell to the free merchant the materials. No, seriously. If you've seen a burned wreckage in a place of suburbs or even a pile of rebar for sale, that's probably me. They've kept me well in exchange, I guess. Who needs rebar? Well, the guys downstairs are working on a pneumatic cannon. It shoots like a cannon without a bang. Cost effective as hell. There's no shortage of improvised weapons you can make. The big thing, though, seems to be the continuing construction of fortifications. Very few of those monsters seem to be able to break through a fence or wall constructed with the stuff. Well then. Anything about the outside world? Nothing optimistic, at least. Had a pal on the road with a ham radio, but she's gone, and so is that thing kaput. Nothing optimistic. Most of the emergency camps have dissolved by now. Cities are mobbed. The force is crawling with glowing eyes and zombies. Some insane shit out there. And anyone with a radio seems to feel like documenting their last awful moments. I feel bad for asking. Have any jobs for me? Sure. I could use someone to help getting some materials. Molotovs are nice for burning down buildings, but they aren't all that for keeping yourself safe. I could use 2 bags of commercial fertilizer. That would make something a lot more potent. Sure. Got any advice? Commercial fertilizer tends to be aluminum nitrate, which is also usable as an explosive. Look for something around abandoned farms. Sounds good, thanks. What's with your ears? Shh. Some people here hate mutations. This was an accident. Sorry to ask. Can I join your group? I don't know. I mean, you look useful, but things become real hazy. But that's become a real hazy thing nowadays. Depends on who you ask. The merchants definitely don't want me here when I'm not selling, but some people get away with it. Alright. And we already checked that out. Okay. I've got some more jobs. Some refugees down here. Ton of refugees. I don't know if any of these people have jobs or anything like that. Don't know if it's worthwhile talking to them. It's a guard. Let's look for anyone else important, quote unquote. Not that guy. That's sure. Is there anyone important around here? Might have a job. I don't think so. Yep, and that's just a bathroom area. Alright, let's talk with this woman. Fatima Al-Jadir, refugee, futilely dusts a bit of grime on her coveralls and looks at you. Hello again. I did talk to her. How are things? You know, the usual, trapped in a tight space with a bunch of strangers that get along tenaciously at best. Good times, good times. What's your story? Before the apocalypse, I had just finished welding school, actually, and was about to start looking for a job. That was fun. Being a young Muslim woman in Massachusetts Trade College, let me tell you. Welding seems like a pretty non-traditional occupational choice. Is there any story behind it? You'd be surprised, actually. Metal art has been part of Muslim tradition for years, although it's not why I got into it. I'm not a very traditional girl. My parents aren't very traditional either. My grandparents are really old-fashioned and strict. My sister came out as gay, and they made her life really hard. Mom and Dad thought we should keep it a secret, but she didn't believe in that. I always loved mechanics and working with my hands, so when they started harassing my parents about getting my sister and I married off to some nice men so we'd stop being so immoral, I decided to pick a job I liked that would bother them as much as possible. It was a good choice. Not only did it make them livid, but I loved welding. I loved the feeling of standing back and looking at my work, knowing I took a few chunks of scrap metal and made something useful. I love how it feels to make them fit together perfectly. Just puts me at peace. I do hope my grandparents are okay though. They were old-fashioned, they made choices I didn't like, but they were my family, and I still have sweet memories of them from when I was little. I had to do a lot more thinking about God since the Armageddon, and while I never agree with the decision they made, I understand why they thought they had to make them. They just wanted their family as a whole to share their relationship with God in their messed up way. How are things here? It's tense here. I know I would feel a lot better if I had someone oh god. I know I'd feel a lot better if I had something to do with my skills, and even if I just had a quiet place to pray sometimes. I feel a bit self-conscious praying in these common areas. Jenny was talking about some project ideas she had that could get me doing my job again, but I admit I'm pretty nervous about going outside. How'd you wind up in the center? I was on my way to visit my parents in Burlington, waiting at a bus station, when the evacuation notices started sounding. I had been a little out of touch for a bit and didn't realize how bad the riding was getting. When my bus arrived, it got repurposed into an evacuation vehicle and took me here. I didn't used to be very religious. It's just something I was born to. But since this happened, I've been thinking a lot more about God and how grateful I am for his help in surviving. With things still so difficult, it's helped to know that he has some plan for me. Anyways, mine was the second bus to arrive, and they were just getting the triage and processing stuff set up. I was put in charge of helping with the wounded along with Eugen. Things went a little strange later on. One of the women doing triage and processing had a bit of a hang-up about a particular colors of people being allowed in the center. She claimed to have lost our papers along with other people's. Thankfully, we'd helped so many that we were able to argue that she couldn't leave us out, but there was no space left downstairs by the time we got that sorted, so here we are. Wow. That's fucked up. Okay. Anything I can do to help out? I have a job for you if you want to hear about it. I feel silly asking this, but here it goes. I've never been wanting to reading holy books and stuff like that. I usually went out the mosque on Friday and tried to pray 5 times a day, but I hardly ever managed it. I guess I'm not a very good Muslim, right? But with all that's happening, I would really love to have a copy of the Quran to read. It seems like a time to go back and get in touch with God, you know? Sure. Not a problem. I don't have any more jobs for you. What were you saying before? Yeah, it's tense. Alright, actually. He wants a Quran. Yuyen. Friend. Alright. Yuyen. Yuyen Tran, refugee, studies you with interest, her eyes lined with fatigues but still alert. She brushes her hair. She brushes a lock of hair off her forehead. Hi there. You look new. It's nice to meet you. My name is Yuyen. Nice to meet you too, Yuyen. What brings you here? Around here, we don't see a lot of new faces. I'm actually just a traveler. Can I ask you a few things? What's your story? I was a paramedic. She idly touches her forehead to brush aside a bit of her hair, then notices it's already tucked back. I was there through some of the absolute worst of it. And to this day, I can't tell you how I made it out. One thing led to another, and I got pushed onto a bus to help take care of a couple people who needed assistance for travel, broken arms, that kind of stuff. I got here early. I was one of the first to arrive, and then this woman in the processing lost my paperwork while I was busy helping a guy with a bad gash on his head. If I hadn't made a stink about it, I probably would have left. I probably would have been out in the lobby with those poor souls who couldn't get in at all. How are things here? Got it okay, I guess, as long as this doesn't last too long. The situation's pretty tight, though. She glances at the huddled crowds of people in the room. If we're stuck in here for too long, they're gonna start getting stir crazy. Anything I can help you out with? There's this doc out front helping anyone that can pay. But for us here, money mostly goes to food. I could do a lot for basic cuts, bruises, and common stuff if I had some supplies. Could you bring me some antiseptic? 6 bottles. Probably be enough. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I think we have 6 bottles. That's a lot, though. Jeez. Alright. Oh, yeah, they're they're talking about the shuffling from Back Bay. Hi there. I don't think we've met before. I'm Reza. People call me Rye. Nice to meet you, Rye. So, what's your story? We don't see a lot of new people here. Just a curious traveler. What's up with you? I'm doing as well as can be expected, I suppose. Nice of you to ask. What's your story? It's a long, long story. I'm not from around here. I'm actually from Western Canada. I always wanted to see New England, and I was down here on vacation when, well, you know, I got evacuated, but because I'm not a US citizen, they weren't willing to take me downstairs. I can understand that, even if I don't like it much. To tell you the truth, I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I'll probably never know how my family and my band are doing. Tell me about yourself. I'm actually a counselor. I worked in a band. I don't even know. Gitexan. Did a lot of mental health and addiction for people who had been through some really tough stuff. Maybe not zombies eating your child level tough, but surprisingly not far off. My people have seen some real messy crap. And your family? My mom and dad are back in Hazleton. They live with my grandma and my older brother. Took a hard knock to the head doing dumb things to this kid, and he can't really take care of himself now. I have a daughter, Angel. She's 16 and didn't want to come with me on this trip. God help me, I can't bear to think of her. She must think I'm dead. Your band? My band is Gigaxen. We're from Northwest British Columbia, around the Skeena River. I'm from Hazleton myself. It's a beautiful place. Tall mountains, temperate rainforests. I partly came here because I love the wet coastal forests and I love exploring them in other countries. I've been in Korea and Slovakia for the same reason. I guess you could say I'm a bit of a forest tourist. I don't know if I'll ever see my own forest again. I just thought the thought breaks my heart. We were saying before, talk. How's it going? How are things here? People are barely hanging on. I've seen trauma before a lot, but this is pretty much the worst imaginable. Everyone has lost everything with a huge dose of nightmare on top of all of it. So we're putting on a brave face, but without help, we're gonna break really soon. Anything I can do to help you out? Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't all have quests, though. I thought you would maybe ask me for a psychology book or something. Who's this fella? John Clemens, refugee. John Clemens, refugee, turns to look at you, lifting an enormous cowboy hat off his eyes. He appears to be in the process of growing a set of bushy mutton chops and a handlebar mustache. Oh, I like this guy. Bright blue eyes peer out from his wrinkled face. Howdy, partner. They call me Clemens. John Clemens. I'm an old cowhand. Nice to meet you, John Clemens. Nice to meet you, too. I reckon you got some questions about this place. Yeah, sure I do. What's your story? My story? Just a wandering cowhand eating dust on the trail. Settled here for a spell after I came upon some hard times. You know what's going on, right? With the evacuation stuff? Of course I do. I ain't an idiot. Just all the folks here can talk about. Okay. How are things here? Folks don't like being kept from the blue sky for too long, cooped up like cattle in a barn. We need pastures to run free, and if you get my drift, till we get them, it's gonna be a little tense. All right. Interesting fellow. Draco Dune. Well, now, good to see another face. Welcome to the refugee, friend. I'm Draco. Nice to meet you, Draco. Nice to meet you too. What brings you around these parts? Got any stories to share? Hopefully, happy ones. We've had our fill of sadness around here. Well, how about you? How are you doing? Well, look at you, asking random folks like some sort of asking after random folks like some sort of shepherd. No, I don't take offense. I mean it well. Could use folks asking after other folks. I figured, I figured that would make the world go round now more than ever. I'm well, friend, considering I have both my legs and much of my health left to me. Bit of pain in the back, but I can't really complain if that's the worst of it, right? You look like you have a story of your own to tell. Just getting here. I'm writing it in my imagination right now. Fought through countless hordes, run ragged, chased at every turn. Yeah, no thank you. That's enough for me. Oh, you don't have all the time for that, do you? Well, I'll give you the short version. I've gotten kind of tired of telling it. Frankly, it's not heroic, not as inspiring, not as tragic, and certainly not as funny as some of the tales around here. But it's mine, you know. I'm a musician. Guitar is my baby. You like folks in the blues, friend? Well, that was my bag, and I'm sure I could please my own ear with them anyways. Folks who's being generous might also say please theirs. Problem is, I seem to be in between guitars right now, you know? Temporarily guitar light, if you get what I'm saying. The problem is, in the run for our life, I had this old Jasmine as a bit of a billy club. Had to curb some rowdy dudes on my way here. It was me or her, you understand? You wouldn't begrudge a man for breaking his instrument to save his life, would you? No, I would have done the same. Nobody here has a guitar. Hey, you would believe that they don't. Not one in the whole place. Well, maybe downstairs, but that's a different matter, isn't it? Say, you're not planning on sticking around, right? You're a free roller, not a settler, seems like to me. I don't know if I could beg or cajole you into keeping an eye out, an ear out for a new guitar for me. Still got plenty out here, not getting any love these days. What do you say? Help an old man play some blues? So, would be good to have some real music around this place. Be good for people, you know what I'm saying? Where would we be without music? Let me ask you something. What type are you? What? I'll tell you what type I am. So then what type are you? It's an interesting question about Eric. What type of person is Eric? I'd say he's a fairly... I'd say he's a fighter, you know? He goes in, he fights things. He isn't afraid to fight things, you know? I mean, he was a fencer before everything, so I think I fight stuff. Me too. It's a fight to stay afloat in these times. Some music would lift all spirits, don't you think? Can you play heavy metal on an acoustic guitar? Man, just imagine what I could do with a new guitar. Let's talk about getting you that guitar. I just want a functional acoustic guitar, preferably one that has the cave in some zombie skulls. Alright, I'll do it. I'll be back soon. Alright. Or these people. Talk. Gary Villeneuve, refugee, looks up at you with a gaunt face. His loose clothes and sharp cheekbones suggest a recent loss of weight. Hi there. He scratches a patchy beard of gray stubble. I'm Gary Villeneuve. That's how you pronounce it. Villeneuve. Nice to meet you, Gary. Ugh, excuse me. Nice to meet you too. Are you staying here or something? No, I'm just a traveler. What's up with you? Doing my best to keep a face. Doing my best to keep going in the face of everything, not getting far. What's your story? For the apocalypse, I was an electrician. Useful. Boris here is my brother-in-law. We were a decent contractor team. When the evacuation sounded, we left together with our... He swallows a cough before continuing. With our families. We got stuck in a crowded evac shelter, then onto a crowded bus, and then everything went wrong. The bus was attacked, destroyed, nearly everyone died. The few of us made it back, not enough. Jesus Christ, I can't imagine that. I was wondering, because I was like, and there had to have been some of those buses that got caught coming here, and oh my god, I can't imagine, you know. Some of those zombies definitely just stand in front of a bus and tank it, you know. You lost someone? Yes, my wife Linda, thrown from the bus. She didn't make it. And my nephew, Ash, Boris and Stan's son. We got him here, but there wasn't anything we could do. Just for a moment, trying to explain without words. And shrugs, internal injuries. Do you want to tell me about Linda? Looks unsure and then sighs softly. I don't know what to say. She was my second wife. My first wife passed away about 15 years ago. I've gone through this before, and it was bad enough then. He stares at the floor for a moment. We don't have any touchstones anymore, you know. I've got Boris and Stan, but they can't support me. What else is there? Looks up at you, appearing to remember the conversation. Sorry. You were asking about Linda. She was wonderful, always surprising me. One of those people who you couldn't predict. So much fun and full of life. Really liked rock climbing. I always used to be afraid that she'd hurt herself in a climbing accident. He laughs, a single harsh sound, more like a cough. Funny how life throws you a curveball. Tell me about Ash. He smiles for a moment, his face returning to what it must have looked like before everything. God, that kid was funny. Such a little nerd. He'd come bombing into any conversation to interrupt and tell you what his latest obsession was. Didn't matter what else was going on. We'd have to remind him to go to the bathroom sometimes. Gary looks around, swollen for a second. Wipes a hand across his face. So damn quiet without him. Wow. How are things here? It's a bit tense, but I don't know. Stan, Boris, I'm pretty insular. I guess we'd better get to know some of the others here eventually. Looks around the room, his eyes dull. Feels like it should be a temporary stop, but it's starting to look like we'll be here the long term, if we live that long. Better get going. Yeah. Is this Stan? Stan seems to look past you for a second before realizing you're there. Hello, I'm sorry if we've met before. I don't really remember. I'm Stan. Stan, hey, nice to meet you. Oh, sorry, yes, nice to meet you. You seem distracted. Yes, sorry, I've been through some hard stuff. I'm really not myself lately. Want to tell me your story? No, I don't really particularly want to talk about it, but I can, I guess. Before the Cataclysm, I was an insurance adjuster. My husband, Boris, and I were evacuated with my brother, Gary. And from our evacuation center, we caught a commissioned bus out of here. The bus was attacked by a monster. We lived. Not everyone on the bus did. We lost people dear to us, and now we're stuck here with little to do but think about it. Tell me about Boris. He's a strong man. The things that we've been through, things that he's been through for any of this, if anyone can survive the loss we've seen, it's him. But he pushes it all down and keeps it, and if he keeps it up, I don't know how much of him will be left. He needs something to do, not just sit here trapped like a rat in a cage forever. How are things here? Mostly my family and I have just been mourning. This isn't the best place to do it. I hope we have something productive to do soon. Boris, in particular, has skills to contribute that might help him feel alive again. All right. Who's this? Another new face. Hello, I'm Boris. Hey, Boris. Nice to meet you. What do I owe the pleasure? Just a traveler taking a chance to have some living human company. What's up in your life these days? What is up? Less than I would like, it would seem. I'm better when I'm busy, and I'm not busy at all. Anything I can help you out with? There isn't much to do with a hammer and saw here indoors. Working outside is too dangerous. If we had some space for me to do some shuffling around here, I could build some privacy walls in here. I've tried to set up a bit of a shop in the garage space, but I've had to keep everything down for the caravans loading and unloading and couldn't get anything done. Caravan brings food, so they get priority. I can't argue that. What's your story? I was a carpenter. I like to keep my hands busy, especially when I'm stressed. Now here I am, picking my nose and stuck thinking about my problems and all that I've lost. You don't seem to be doing great. No, not great. Like all here, I've lost too much. I don't feel like I can ever come back for it. Can anyone be strong enough? What have you lost, if it's okay for me to ask? I'd rather talk about what I have left. My husband Stan and his brother Gary, my best friend. Without them, I'd be lost myself. What I've lost is more than anyone should ever have to think about. So how are things? Everyone seems to agree this is bad. Sleeping on a cot on the floor, crowded with strangers, woken by zombies in the middle of the night. To me, though, that's all just drop in a bucket. I've spent so much time just regretting what I've lost. Thank you for bringing back what little you could. Is there anything? No. Alright. Man, we got more people. We got a lot of people back here. Let's start at the top. Vanessa. This is Toby, refugee, looks you up and down for several seconds before speaking. Oh, great. Her voice is husky. Oh, great. From years of smoking, her glare suggests it's a habit she's recently given up. Another new face to feed. Just what we need. Well, I'm Vanessa. I'm not a new mouth, but it's nice to meet you. Well, that's good. She purses her lips and gives you another judgmental stare. If you're going to pull your own weight, I guess that's an improvement. What's your story? I don't really want to talk about my life before this shit show, if that's what you mean. She shrugs. I don't need a shoulder to cry on. I'm a hairdresser. Is that enough personal information for you? How are things? You want the sarcastic version or the really sarcastic version? I'm stuck on this dank, shitty brick building with 24 strangers, the world's dead, and there's not enough food to go around. Why don't you fucking figure it out? Anything I can help you out with? She does have a job for me. I didn't think to pack my hairdressing equipment when I evacuated. If you could put together a basic haircutting kit for me, I could do a bit of styling for the people around here. Even give you a free haircut for your troubles. I'll do it. Any advice? I don't need too much. Scissors, small mirror, bit of cloth. Some way to keep it all stored clean when I'm not using it, like a leather pouch or something. I can get the rest what I need from the shelter supplies. Sound good, thanks. Okay. Alright, we got a couple more people here. So it's interesting because these people are wearing the emergency jackets. I don't know if there's emergency jackets here, but I feel like it's sort of some environmental storytelling telling us that these people came from one of the emergency shelters. I wonder if they'll talk about it. Let's talk. Dana Nunez. Dana is a pale... Oh, God. Dana is a pale woman with a broad, friendly face. She seems to start opening a wide grin, then notice her somber surroundings and dials it back to a pleasant smile. Hi there, I'm Dana Nunez. Nice to meet a new face. Nice to meet you, Dana. What's your story? I was working at a nice restaurant as a baker until Armageddon. I was pregnant, getting close to the time to go on the mat leave. Lots of time on my feet, getting up stupid early to make pastries, Because of the pregnancy, we were getting evacuated early and shipped this way, but our bus was attacked in the chaos. We managed to escape, but had to hike the rest of the way with the Sings and a few other refugees. I hiked the rest of the way with the Sings and a few other refugees that didn't make it. I lost the baby. It wasn't a good time. Oh, wow. Just gonna say the same thing. Yeah. How are things around here? Things are getting tense at the best of times. We didn't choose this crowd, so not all of us get along. I like Jenny and Fatima. The three of us are kind of lucky to have friends here. That doesn't make up for us being a bunch of unfamiliar faces crammed into a tiny space. Someone's gonna murder someone soon, mark my words. You were saying before? Sorry for your loss. It's kind of you to say. I've been doing my best to move on. It hurts. But in the scale of things, it could be worse. Pablo and I have each other, and that's what matters most. You were saying before... Alright. Done any baking lately? I do a bit. I got a sourdough starter going for almost as soon as I arrived, and it's making passable bread already. I cooked some up yesterday, actually, and I could probably trade a loaf of fresh bread for, say, about 8 cups of flour or 2 merch. Honestly, I don't want to even persuade her because Erich, in all things considered, Erich is fairly rich. I mean, he basically has an entire town to himself, realistically. So, I don't think Erich would be one to barter something lower. Alright. I might trade her flour, though, because I think we probably have some that I just haven't used to make bread. Pablo Nuez looks up to you with a young face lined prematurely with concern. Hi there, I'm Pablo. Nice to see a new face. Hey Pablo, nice to meet you. We don't get many new faces around here. How can I help you? What's your story? Oh, I was an accountant before. Just finished my CPA last year, and I already had a position as a manager at my firm. Everything was looking good. We decided we were ready for a baby. Hindsight makes us idiots, hey? How are things? It's pretty tough here. We're packed into a small location. Too many people. Everyone is already dealing with their own trauma. Ray's trying to help out, but she can't be a proper counselor in these circumstances. I don't know how we're going to survive for long. As for me, well, I wish I could be anywhere but here. I need to see the sky again, or I'm going insane. Let's see. Alright, who's this? We got Jenny. Hey, Jenny? Jenny Forsett is a thin woman in her early 30s with a sort of pale, freckled skin that looks like it would burn if she thought too hard about the sun. Her clothes and bearing suggest she might have once been carefully put together, but she is now harried, the look of someone who has too many worries and too many sleeps. She looks up from her laptop and smiles at you as you approach. Hi there. I haven't seen you around here before. I'm Jenny Forsett. Nice to meet you. What are you doing on the computer? I'm pewtering around. I always have stuff on the go. Jenny rubs the bridge of her nose, breaking from fatigue. Gotta keep busy. Keep my mind off stuff, you know? What are you working on? I recently came into possession of this mold for making high-caliber air rifle bullets. Ooh, interesting. I'm kind of working on a design that would use them to protect the base. Got a long way to go. Oh, so she's the one working for the rebar rifle? Cannon thing? Or maybe this is something different. Got a long way to go. If you happen to see anything in your travels about high-powered air rifles, that would help out a lot. If I see anything, I'll let you know. Can you tell me more about the project? Well, these things are standard 30 caliber. They should be compatible with any similar rifle barrels. It should be pretty easy to repurpose some rifle parts into large air weapons that can be used without relying on gunpowder and without so much noise. I'm still drawing up an actual design though, and I have a bunch of features I want. Ask me again in a couple of weeks and I'll give you some more info. Okay, we'll have to come back in a couple weeks then. If we're alive. Oh god. What's your background? Me? I trained at MIT in mechanical engineering. I worked for a long time as a senior engineer at Marduk Thermal in Rhode Island. It was a good job, but I landed my dream gig at Boston Dynamics. Ooh, moved up north to start there. She tips the back of her head and lets out a long, wistful sigh. I had just finished my orientation and was going to start working when the riot started. Just my damn luck. It's interesting that she mentions Boston Dynamics. I wonder if... because Boston Dynamics right now, in real life, is a sort of I mean, they're a pretty big company. They've been putting out stuff, but like, this is like in the future where robots have started being actually deployed in workforce. You know, we got iBots, riot bots, you know, apparently there's like medical bots too and stuff like that. So it must be a pretty big company at this point. That's pretty impressive, but there must be more to you than just your job. Jenny grins and tugs at her shirt. An uncharacteristically crisp white t-shirt sporting a brightly colored penguin holding a slide rule and a rainbow slogan saying, "Pseudo build it the way I told you to." Ha! You must not know many engineers, hey? I guess there's more to me than engineering, but most of my hobbies come back to it one way or another. It's not that I live for my work. Doing engineer for a heating company wasn't some great dream. But when I got home, I'd pewter with I love how she says pewter. I'd pewter with the project that I wanted to do instead of the ones that they made me do, you know? And of course, I had my friends and things. We'd go out and hang out and play board games and stuff. Maybe someday I'll get a board game group started up here. Although there's nothing wrong with card games we got now. Plus, I don't think Zombicide would hold the same interest for me as it used to. What kind of board games did you play? So we actually... we've run into some board games. We'll probably find some if she wants some. She scrunches her face for a moment. There's a whole world of weird board games for ultra nerdy people. Lots of stuff that's never really reached the mainstream. One of the hardest parts of evacuating is leaving my garage full of eccentric crowdfunded games that I've never played. Have you thought about... you know, I think Eric would say this just because he saw the D&D stuff in the mansion and was like, D&D. I feel like he played D&D as well, honestly. I mean, stuff like D&D? Well, of course I played the mandatory amount of dice-based RPGs necessary to graduate my engineering program, she grins. They're fun. Something like that would be nice around here. But I'm not that kind of storyteller, and I don't think everyone else is nerdy enough for it. Jenny tips her head a bit. It's nice that you're asking, but don't worry about me. I've got recreation. Have you ever thought about going back for your board games? No, mainly because my whole neighborhood burnt to the ground. Some scouts went a while ago. There's nothing there for me but melted plastic miniatures and thousands of hours of board game play I will never have. We were saying before... let's see. How are things living here? It's been over a month now, so I guess I'm starting to get used to it. It's actually... Has it been longer? No, it's been about a month, I guess. Well, actually, it's technically been like 90 days, I think, since the Cataclysm. What day are we on? Summer day 13. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while. We've been out here a while. Things are pretty rough after Sean died. Sean. I'll say Sean just because. But it wasn't because of our first big loss. It won't be the last, I guess. I've made a couple friends, and in a weird way, we're all like family. We're all hoping that they'd let us downstairs sooner than this, though. We've never quite sure if there's going to be enough food going around. I'm really hoping that I can lose myself in this project. Still haven't had a good night's sleep since the apocalypse. Can you tell me about the other refugees here? Well, there's a bunch of us. We've started to form a bit of a community. Fatima and I work together a fair bit, and I've hanging out with Dana, Draco, and Alicia quite a lot. I don't know about the Borchenko bunch, the Shengs, Vanessa, Yue, Reza quite as well, but we've talked. What did you want to know? Do we want to gossip? You know, tell me, I'm interested about the free merchants, because these guys kind of seem weird. They run the place, and they don't run a charity. We get paid for working around the place, maintaining it, what have you. We trade our cash for food. Thing is, supply and demand, all that. There's a lot more cash than there is food. It's easier to buy a laptop than a piece of beef jerky, and there's no sign of things getting better. The balance is way off right now. A hard day's work, barely enough to get your fill in your belly. I wouldn't bitch too much, though. I don't know of a better way to run it, although the rumor is that folks living downstairs have it a lot easier than we do. I try not to think about that too much. I don't think we have anything else to talk to her. I don't want to gossip too much. Yeah. Talk to the other people and maybe come back to her and finish that conversation about the gossip. This is Alicia, her bunkmate. Alicia seems impossibly young at first glance. Her dark face nervous as she sees you looking her way. Upon closer inspection, you approach seems as likely in her early teens. Oh boy. But the contrast in her weary face makes her age stand out. Hi, you look new here. I'm Alicia. Nice to meet you, kid. What's up? Not a kid, okay? I'm 14. Sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. What's up? We're just standing around here waiting like a bunch of idiots. We're supposed to be going downstairs to the shelter, but it's been over a month. I don't think it's happening. I don't know what we're doing here, but I've read all the books and there's zombies outside, so we're stuck here. I can hear them at night. What's your story? Alicia narrows her eyes, her words coming out hoarse and clipped. You can't just go around asking people like that nowadays. Actually, most people appreciated me going around and asking them their story. So, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm a good person. You're wrong. I'm a teenage girl alone in an evacuation center after, like, literally everyone in the world died and came back as zombies. What do you think my story is? My entire family died, came back as zombies, and somehow I wound up here. Who takes care of you here? Nobody really. I'm old enough to work in the merch and get my merch for my rations. Jenny and Ray look out for me though. I think they don't notice that they're looking out for me, but I do. It's okay. They're both cool. What's your take on the situation here? What the hell? Okay. I don't have much of a hot take besides what I said. It's shit. Not enough to do to stay busy, not enough meat, and even if I had internet, all the YouTubers I follow are dead. So true, they're all dead. What YouTubers did you follow? Alicia Seward looks you up and down, an uncharacteristic glint of humor in her eyes. Why, you thinking of subscribing? I don't think you have heard of them. And even if you had, there's simply no way you get any new content out. They're not worth watching anyways. Alright. That's funny. Alright, we got another group here. I think these are the Sings. And this is, it's just Sings. Alright, let's talk to the wife first, I guess. If this is the wife, might be his daughter. Mangalil Purit is a well-kept middle-aged woman with her dark hair tied back in a long braid. She looks as you approach. Ah, you're new. So I'm sorry. I'm Mangala Purit. Mangalapret. There we go. Gotta sound that one out. 3rd grade level reading. Mangalapret. I'm probably still gonna pronounce it wrong. Yes, nice to meet you. Will you be staying with us? I don't think we're taking more refugees. No, I'm just a traveler saying hello. Anything you want to talk about? What's your story? Before the end of the world, I was the vice principal of an elementary school. Now I'm not sure what I am. A person without a purpose. How are things here? I have lost my family. I have my family. I have the Guru Granth Sahib. I have these things, but I do not have peace. No one here does. We are crowded. We are plagued by sounds and memories of the dead. The situation is grim. The situation is grim. You should come to my quiet town that just has giant insects. Mandeep is a middle-aged man with a crisp turban and a large blade at his side. Oh shit, dude, he's a blade user too. Hell yeah. He meets your gaze as you approach. I like to think like it's like a JoJo thing where he sees my blade and I see his. Hello, sir. I am Mandeep Sheikh. Nice to meet you, Mandeep. It's nice to meet you as well. Can I help you with something? Just had some questions. What's your story? My story, and it's much the same as everyone's, I fear. Loss and violence. I have not lost as much as many. By the grace of the Lord, I still have got my wife and son. I could not be more grateful. How are things around here? It's hard for me to say. No one is happy here. I sense that some are frustrated that my family and I have escaped the end of the world, apparently unscathed. That and perhaps some other things that have made it hard for us to get close friends here. That's unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. It's crazy that, like, I like this because it's like this would happen. Like, you come to the end of the world and like people would immediately start being like, we should only let white people allow to be surviving in the shelter. Like, just goddamn, really just fucked up. Gunnet, it's a young man in a white turban, surprisingly clean compared to the rest of his outfit. He turns from the window as you approach, and then raises his eyebrows to see your new face. Oh, hello. I didn't think I've seen you around here before. I'm Gunnet. People call me Gunny. Nice to meet you, Gunny. Well, I guess we're still doing that stuff. Cool. Nice to meet you, too. What's up? I had some questions. What's up? He stares at you for a moment. What a weird question. The world has ended. That's what's up. What am I supposed to answer on that one? Well, what's your story? I was in high school, you know. He jabs his thumb to his shirt, reading Alexander Bullock High. Most of the way of my junior year. My story, I got in a bus with my parents. The bus crashed. Everyone died except a few people, most of whom are crammed into this little shelter now. Who knows when we're getting out of here. Your family all made it here? Yeah, we did. He gestures to the turbaned old man, speaking quietly with a small woman a little ways away. Seems like it should be a great thing, right? It is. We're super lucky, but we can't help some people blame us for it. I keep wondering, you know, why us? What makes us so special, and how can we even enjoy this when everyone around... So it's not even that it's a racist thing, it's just that people hate them for surviving. Wow. How are things here? Is there something you could do to help with this? I don't really have any skills. I'm just a kid. What am I gonna do? Before he can answer, he shakes his head. I'm being pathetic. Sorry, you're right. I should see if there's something I can give back to the community. Maybe make my place in it. That's a good call. He scratches his chin and looks out the window. Thanks. You're saying before? How are things here? It sucks in here. There's no two ways about it. People here don't talk to us because we wear turbans and we still have each other. They think we're still together. We didn't lose anything. My dad believes it too. I think my mom's on the fence. Wow. I mean, why? It's insane to me that these people are still at the end of time. So this is the bay, I guess, where carpenter dude was talking about. Get a teamster here. Hey now, well now, a new face. I'm sending out the caravans far and wide. What can I do for you? Can I ask you some questions? Sure, got nothing to load up just now. So your caravan seen anything interesting out there in the wasteland? There's been rumors, folks talking about some sort of secret lab out in the wild with survivors in it. I haven't seen it myself, mind you. How do I get to the lab? He shows us on our map. That should get you there. Good luck. I suspect you'll need it. Thanks. Yeah. That's another hub. I think it's literally called the hub. Okay. And this is the back bay, I imagine, which I am probably gonna... Oh. Nice. Mutagenic snail. That's the back bay. It's probably going to be pretty crazy down there, and it's going to be close quarters, and I don't want to drag people into it, so I don't know. I don't think there's anyone else to talk to, so we got quite a few quests. I believe this goes to the hub, which we were there in the Night Runner series. Remember we slept there. Yes, this is the hub. It's a meteorology station. Hope it's not infested. I'm thinking about heading back, honestly, to home. But sadly, we spent this entire episode just talking to more refugees, but I think it was fairly interesting. Next episode, we're definitely heading out, though, to either go back home or explore some of the surrounding stuff. We'll see. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.